we definitely got to shout out the trends. We got a couple comments to read out here for the people, man, because we love the trends out there that's been commenting on YouTube.
We appreciate the feedback because we want more. We want a lot more of y'all trends to get involved in there and start getting some comments in. We'll shout you out on the podcast as well.
That's right. You can come to our YouTube. I'm gonna link that up in the show notes. You can come and leave a comment on one of our segments that you heard us talk about, because we definitely break them up into kind of different clips on
little
YouTube.
bits.
Yeah, little bits. So you can, if you hear something on this podcast and you want to discuss something with that, go find it on YouTube. Usually a couple of days after the podcast releases on Tuesday, probably like Thursday or Friday. Go on there and check it out and leave a comment. And we'll, argue with us if you want.
Yeah.
You might get arguments from other people too.
That's the thing. The trillions like to have little debates.
They do like to have a little debates. One of the comments that we got was after we talked about Cardi B shouting out Rhapsody and trying to figure out why has Nicki Minaj. A comment from the screen name is Christ is at hand. Huh. It's just an interesting interesting YouTube name, because I don't know if this is it's a hardcore Christian, but she basically says or he says Nicki destroyed all women unity in hip hop because before her everyone was collaborating.
That's true. I think we've touched on that a little bit.
We did touch on that, which is pretty much
that's pretty much what Nicki has been known for to an extent when it comes to that topic. Like,
destroyed all women unity in hip hop, though.
Well,
it's very strong.
Maybe not completely, but she held back a lot of it. She was like holding, her own lane. She was staying in her own lane, and she had a wide body, and it wasn't letting nobody pass.
She definitely
wasn't. It was a single lane, and she wasn't letting nobody pass, and she kind of wasn't sharing it, like putting people on. We talked about that.
We definitely talked about that.
Appreciate the comment.
It's definitely a strong comment to say that she destroyed all women. I think there was still unity with women. It just wasn't happening on a major.
Yeah, it was happening on other levels. Yeah, maybe more on the underground scene and in the background. It really wasn't at the forefront. And now the doors kind of swung open, and more women are uniting, and also just are out there.
They stay popping right now. They getting it going.
Like Wonder Woman came out. Look what's going on.
Yeah, it changed everything. Imagine if Hillary Clinton would have became president. Yeah, they would probably start slaughtering men. I'm gonna just be real with you.
We'd have a Themyscira here.
Right.
The United States would become the new Themyscira. Right. All men must leave.
Right.
Or die.
Or perish. We got another comment, and we're gonna definitely go into more detail into this one. This one comes from Liam Krebs. Okay, he says, "Yo, what do you guys think of the idea that not pushing the culture forward makes someone a culture vulture, or more or less, what makes someone a culture vulture?" Can't really find any level-headed response to this. Fucking love the podcast though, guys. Much love from Australia.
I love it.
Crikey.
Yes.
Right. Shout out to Liam Krebs for sending us that.
We appreciate that.
This is I mean, because everybody's got different opinions on what they consider culture vulture, but let's go to the first
definitions.
There's multiple definitions, but let's go to the first question. What do we think of the idea that someone that's not pushing the culture forward makes someone a culture vulture?
Not pushing, not letting it move forward makes them a culture vulture.
Right. So I would think that what he was probably talking about is like,
that's a different outlet.
Some people they might call Lil Pump a culture vulture.
In what sense?
Does he pushing the culture forward?
Or is he kind of just keeping it?
Or is he like pushing it backwards? You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. And it's all a matter of opinion.
Right.
When it all, it's all said and done, like, cause there's people out there that feel that is pushing the culture forward, something like that, Lil Pump, an artist like that. So, I mean, it's a matter of opinion. The way I look at it, then it could be considered a culture vulture, like in the sense of, is it a step forward or a step back? And I feel it's almost a step back for those to be like number one songs, like the top songs in hip hop and shit. It's all like, how's that when we have other
like
artists.
J. Cole. J. Cole's usually up there. But
Joyner Lucas, you know what I'm saying? We have some where he took shots at him, but I mean, that's beside the point. Like, just artist-wise, we know what he can produce, you know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I guess in this kind of situation, to me, like, pushing the, I guess, culture forward is people that do like these creative and original things that people have never done before.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that to me pushes the culture forward.
Oh yeah.
I can see how I can see how somebody would say Lil Pump is, you know, not pushing the culture forward, because when you think about it, I mean, he kind of raps like all the other, like this new wave of the youth out there, they kind of all rap the exact same. Whereas you have somebody like Jordan Lucas, who did the song where he raps a verse forward, but he raps the same exact verse backwards, which has never been done before. Yeah. Right? To me, that's kind of pushing the culture forward, because it's like, all right, that's been done. What can we? It's like evolution of like technology, right?
Yeah.
So we had the first car, which was shit, and now we got. But you need that car to happen so we can get to this point of the cars that do automatic start and all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to get the bases out.
Putting in a sense of like cell phones, where we had the original phone was a big box you put to your head, and now we have touchscreen, you know, small phones. You know? Right.
So it's got to be people that are innovative that, to me, pushes the culture forward. Does that make you a culture vulture if you're not innovating?
I don't know if that. Yeah, I don't know if that makes it a culture vulture. Yeah, because I mean, how does it make them a culture vulture?
Right.
Like, I need to hear someone argue that, you know, their response on why it makes them one, because I can't think of a reason why it would make them a culture vulture.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, to me, that's just holding it back, you know, not letting evolution take its course in the right way.
Right. Yeah. That's just what it is. Like, you just fucking, I don't think that's, but let's go into the thought of what is a culture vulture in your personal, cause you know, he says that he can't find a good, somebody give you a level headed answer. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which I believe that to be so, cause everybody's kind of got like a different
take on it.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What is your idea of a culture vulture?
Well, I mean, my idea of a culture vulture is someone who is basically jumping on coattails or riding the wave, you know, kind of, you know, going with the times, like what's hot. Cause I mean, that's someone who is basically scavenging on what's going on, what's hot. So they're like, ooh, I'm gonna jump on this because this is what's popping right now. So I'm gonna hop on that and see what I can do, right. And not even have any idea of that type of, you know, that part of the culture or what that movement, you know, or however the style is at that moment that they're trying to pick up on. Well, it's not your thing, but now you're trying to take it.
Let me ask you this,
make it yours.
Based off of that, can Jay-Z be a culture vulture? Because Jay-Z's definitely kind of rode some waves to keep himself relevant. Well, Kendrick's kind of doing it right now.
Yeah. Well, you could say, they, in a sense, they are. There's many people who've been culture vultures that we've thought are like some hot artists, right. You know, that they rode a wave at some point to get where they were. If not where they at when they made it to the top part, maybe that was part of the wave right there in itself. There's been a lot of culture vultures in the game. It's not necessarily a bad thing always.
Well, I would say that a culture vulture is, let's say, like South by Southwest, right? Was like a kind of like an indie kind of thing that was going on, and the people that created it, they were like within that indie culture. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Then the corporations come and it's like, oh, now this is popular. Like, I'm going to infuse all this cash into it and do it my way. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to make it a corporate thing.
Yeah, and then it becomes something that it wasn't what it was in the beginning. That to me is like culture vulture. Or like, sometimes I'll see these people that, especially with rap, I've seen like these bloggers that they didn't even grow up listening to rap. They grew up listening to like Elton John or some shit. Not to say nothing against Elton John, but then they come and they'll have like, I'm gonna tell you that this right here is trash and this right here is good. And you'll be like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna tell me that somebody like Lupe Fiasco is trash, right? And then tell me somebody like, I don't know, OJ the Juice Man is dope. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Like, who are you to say that? And I've seen that happen in hip hop just over the years. Like, people come in and like, I'm going to put it down and tell you what this is. And it's like, no, you don't even know anything about this.
These are the facts.
Right. But they've grown to like these massive, huge followings. And they're like, we control
People,
what is Complex Magazine.
What is hot and what is not.
Right. Yeah. And it's like, they'll like discredit some dope shit and then they'll like put up this shit that they like. And it's like,
you're not pushing the culture forward. You're keeping it stagnant. You know, by doing that, you're keeping it where it is.
You're being a culture vulture. Yeah. Do you have any, you want to get a little closer?
Yeah.
Come on now.
I'm a special guest. Special guest here.
Yeah.
Well, my opinion about it is, I think a culture vulture on any level is just somebody who is trying to infuse themselves into something that they don't have any knowledge about, or not even that they don't have any knowledge about, they just have no interest in learning more about. Sometimes you stumble upon culture, you stumble upon things that excite you and interest you. It doesn't mean that you can't have an opinion about it. I think what makes a person a vulture is when they don't want to do the research and their opinion is based off of just nothing. You know,
stats, money, some whole other shit. You know
but I will say though, you know, to answer the question of your trillion from Australia,
certified.
like, I think it's really important to, number one, protect whatever culture it is that you have. I think it's responsibility of the people who call people culture vultures to not just point people out as culture vultures, because that to me makes people defensive and it makes people kind of like, well, how can you tell them they can't have an opinion? You know, you use the example in your example about, you know, Lupe Fiasco and OJ the Juice Man, but at the end of the day, if somebody has an opinion, they should be able to have that.
Yeah.
No,
it's the people who are pointing at people, calling them culture vultures, that really make culture vultures relevant. You have to protect the culture, and then you won't even have to worry about the vultures. They'll fall off on their own.
It's hard though.
Getting scolded.
No. She makes a good point, but it's hard though, because okay, like in hip hop, like it's the people, like I don't want to say poor, but like people from the streets like started this whole culture.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And then you have people that's nowhere near the streets, nowhere near anything like this, that have money. You see what I'm trying to say? That build these basically skyscrapers within the culture, and now they like own it. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dog, like who are you to say? You know, Jay-Z recently said I think on the Rap Radar podcast, this is our culture. Nothing moves without us. So we do have to be in control of, like, this is hip hop is ours. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have some kind of control. You got to have some kind of control of it if it's yours. Yeah.
Right. Like, we need to decide who is going to be. We decide. Like, we put fucking Cardi B number one.
Yeah.
You see what I'm trying to say?
Exactly,
like, we made her number one. Yeah. The fucking corporations didn't do that.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
They had to deal with it.
Right. They had to deal with it. It was like, fuck, I guess she's going to be number one. You know what I'm saying?
That's what they want.
Yeah. We can't fight that. That's us like controlling.
That's us stepping up.
Right. Us controlling the culture. Mm-hmm. Now, they're trying to put in some of these people where like, who the fuck? Like this chick, the Bad Bobby. Okay? They're trying to like force her in on us, and we're like, no,
we don't want that.
Get her the fuck out. We have to be like strong about getting her the fuck out if we don't want her in.
Not giving no airplay. You can't click on her shit. You can't support in any way. Not even the hate.
Because
hating is getting the hits.
Getting the views, getting the fucking algorithms to push more out there.
But that's
you know
what I'm
saying?
trying to say about the whole idea of a culture vulture. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The vulture is only relevant if you make it relevant. And I know there are some examples that you might not want to talk about that you have talked about off air that you think are media culture vultures in the media world, but then you have to ask yourself, those same quote unquote culture vultures, have made a lot of people relevant and popular. So at the end of the day, you have to be careful, and it goes back to protecting the culture by any means necessary, even if it means that person doesn't become insta famous. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, you're not gonna be able to control like just natural virality, right? Yeah. Like with the Bad Barbie chick, she went viral on her own, and everybody made T-shirts, all this shit. We just but she was smart enough to say, I'm going to capitalize off of people making me viral.
Yeah.
Which,
but does that make her a vulture?
No, it does. Well, it kind of does. But
why?
Because I'm guarantee you.
Because she's casting out something that she really ain't about.
Yeah, like if she really was to deal with all this shit, like something she just be saying or whatever, like it just won't go down like that. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, Miley Cyrus is another one, somebody that, like, we let her into the culture. You know what I'm saying?
And then,
like, I wasn't happy about it. I was like, what the fuck is this bullshit? And then all of a sudden, she dips out of it after she's made her money and says, I don't have nothing to do with rap anymore. I mean, it's just, it's just violent and it's just misogynistic and all this shit. It's like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You made your money.
But you can come in and make a song about with hip hop artists and
right.
And
we gotta stop shit like that from happening. We gotta be able to peep that shit and be like, no, get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's just it.
So I guess the answer is Miley Cyrus.
Miley Cyrus
is a culture vulture, Mr. Liam Krebs.
To bring in another point, like of another opinion of my girl, like she had never heard really the phrase culture vulture really, and she said that her thought on it was that she believed that the sound of it was that it may be basically the old heads how we are. Like she said, someone who kind of dissects what may be popular and kind of breaks it down and and negative, positive, well, not really positive, but negatively, like, and kind of in a sense, I was feeling like, maybe kind of like how the old heads do the young ones these days, where
right.
we, a lot of us go in there and we dissect their shit because it's not what we want or not what we like.
So we're going in there tearing it apart.
And we're kind of tearing it apart. And, kind of like a vulture does its food when it finds it, when it scavenges it.
Right,
so,
right.
I was like,
that's definitely a different, interesting perspective.
Yeah, different perspective, but not necessarily a wrong one.
Right.
Like, maybe it's a new definition for
I can guarantee the old heads are like, fuck that shit.
Yeah. I'm one of the old heads that I'm not a culture vulture.
Right. Because I'm trying to protect. Because that could be seen as protecting the culture.
Yeah.
Right. So
I'm trying to not let it get out of hand.
But it's a definitely interesting perspective. So I hopefully we answered Mr. Liam Krebs out of Australia's question about what is a culture vulture, what we think. I know he said he hasn't gotten a level-headed answer, and I feel like I'm a little level-headed. So
maybe I think we were able to give some good answers. Right?